So let us start with the last part of this particular chapter, breathing and exchange of gas, where we discussed human respiratory system in detail. We saw the entire physiology of respiration. We saw respiration is broadly classified as external and internal respiration. External respiration, which involves the mechanism of breathing and gaseous exchange occurring at lungs, and internal respiration, which also involves gaseous exchange but at the level of tissues and the transport of gases, and cellular respiration. So all we had discussed in detail except cellular respiration, which I have told you will be dealt as a separate chapter altogether, right? We saw breathing, which we also refer as pulmonary ventilation, involving two activity, inspiration and expiration, also called as inhalation or exhalation. Now, when we also discussed about gaseous exchange, we saw that any sort of, passage of gas or diffusion of gas is dependent on mainly three factors. Three factors which are essential for diffusion of respiratory gas. Can you tell me which were the three factors that we had listed down? Which all factors?
Partial pressure, thickness of respiratory membrane.
One more factor is there. So these three factors together, thickness of the respiratory membrane, partial pressure of the gases, and the solubility of gases. Based on these three factors, gases will be diffusing across this respiratory membrane. And we saw that which gas is blessed with more diffusion capacity? Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is able to diffuse 20 to 25 times more as compared to oxygen. Nitrogen, though it is the chief component of the air that we inspire, but still nitrogen is not getting diffused inside our tissue. What is the reason for that? Okay, it is least soluble, but which is the main reason? See, air always moves along a pressure gradient. Gradient means there should be a difference in the partial pressure. Means air will move from a region of higher partial pressure to a region of lower partial pressure. Means there is a gradient established. A difference is seen. If there is no gradient, means there is no difference. The pressure outside, the pressure inside is the same. So there is no net diffusion of nitrogen to your tissues, and nitrogen is an inert gas, the least soluble one. Body is not utilizing free nitrogen. We use nitrogen only in amino acid to be converted into protein. So all this we had discussed. We also saw how this respiration, breathing mechanism is controlled in our body. Based on who is controlling it, we are having two types of breathing. Quiet, also referred as involuntary breathing, and forceful, also referred as the breathing which is controlled by your cerebral cortex. Involuntary or quiet breathing is controlled by your together DRG and VRG. I will call it as the respiratory rhythm center, okay, located in our medulla oblongata. And this DRG and VRG, especially VRG, is regulated by someone else also. Who is that? Pons Varelli. Pons Varelli के पास खुद का दो न्यूक्लियाई होता है. One which we call as the pneumotaxic center, another which is referred as the apneustic center. Which among this is more important for Pons Varelli? Pneumotaxic center. Location wise, where do you find a pneumotaxic center in Pons Varelli? Dorsal side. It is also dorsally located. Means, can I say it is somewhere upper to the DRG of the medulla oblongata? Right? Apneic center, someone like few people, they also consider them to be hypothetical. Means the existence of this center is also a big question mark. Now for these centers to modify the breathing activity, certain impulses have to be sent to them, and those impulses are detected by specialized receptors which are able to detect certain chemicals to bring changes in the breathing activity. These receptors collectively we call them as chemoreceptors, and location wise we classify these chemoreceptors in two categories: central chemoreceptors and peripheral chemoreceptor. Where do we find central chemoreceptor? It is present in the medulla oblongata, so we can also call them as medullary chemoreceptor. The one which is present beyond medulla oblongata, we call them as peripheral. Peripheral कितने टाइप के देखे हमने? Two type. One which is found at the bifurcation of the carotid artery, we call them as carotid bodies or carotid chemoreceptor. One which is present on the aorta का arch, we call them as aortic chemoreceptor. तो वो central हो या peripheral हो, these receptor receive certain stimuli. Which are the chief stimulus for them? Partial pressure of CO2. High partial pressure of CO2 I can say, and high hydrogen ion content depending upon that. These are the two stimuli which they chiefly detect from the blood. उन्होंने देख लिया blood में ये बहुत ज़्यादा है. They send the impulse to medulla. अब medulla breathing activity को क्या कर देगा? Increase करेगा या decrease करेगा? Increase. Medulla is going to increase this particular breathing activity. There can be one more stimulus that they can detect, but it is not very significant. It's not playing any significant role. Which is the third stimulus? Partial. You will say reduced partial pressure of oxygen. Okay, so all these things are controlling your breathing activity, whether it has to be increased or whether it has to be decreased. To check whether your respiratory system is working properly or not, there are certain set of volumes that we can detect by using an instrument referred as spirometer. So we discussed the whole concept of pulmonary volume and pulmonary capacity. We saw four different type of pulmonary volume: TV, IRV, ERV and RV. RV stands for residual volume. Can anyone define me what is residual volume? The volume of air that still remains in lung after forceful expiration, we call them as residual volume. But after normal expiration, what will I call that as? The volume of air that remains in lungs after normal expiration. That is called as FRC. FRC यानी कि functional residual capacity. What is ERV? Expiratory residual volume. वो lungs के अंदर रहती नहीं है. That is the volume which you are giving out during forced expiration. The volume of air, the maximum volume of air that you are able to expire during forceful expiration, that is ERV. Same manner IRV, the volume of air that you are able to inspire during forceful inspiration, that is IRV, inspiratory reserve volume. PV means normal amount of air, volume of air that you can inspire or expire during quiet breathing. So depending upon what type of breathing you are doing, you are checking the various pulmonary volumes and pulmonary capacity. So remember, lungs are never devoid of air. Certain volume of air is always present, right? And that volume, कितना lungs के अंदर है? Can I ever detect that using spirometer? The air which is never coming out, how can I measure it with a spirometer? So we use a different technique to do that. Which was the technique? I just mentioned the name of that. It just referred as a nitrogen washout method. We did not see how this technique we use. किस तरीके से करते हैं वो नहीं देखा. बस इतना याद रखो. To calculate residual volume, I cannot use a spirometer. I have to use another instrument called as, another technique called as nitrogen washout method. So can I calculate VC यानी कि VC का फुल फॉर्म क्या? VC means vital capacity. Can I calculate vital capacity of the lungs using a spirometer? Can I measure VC of a lung using spirometer? Yes, because VC का मतलब क्या है? PV plus IRV plus ERV. All these pulmonary volumes I can measure using spirometer. So yes, vital capacity I can calculate using spirometer. Somewhere in the range of 3.5 to 4.5 liters you can say is the vital capacity of the lung. But can I calculate TLC? TLC हमने क्या देखा था? Full form? Total lung capacity. It is with respect to inspiratory capacity of the lung or expiratory capacity of the lung? No, it's only with respect to inspiration. Why? कि लंग में कितना मैक्सिमम तुम एयर भर सकते हो. Because expiration, can I ever make lung completely devoid of air? No. So TLC is only with respect to inspiration. Maximum how much volume of air I can fill inside lung. Total lung capacity, and that will depend upon the lung compliance. Compliance means the phenomena of elasticity. कितना lung मेरा elastic है, right? So depending on that, we saw that around 5 to 6 liters is the total lung capacity. Can I measure that with the help of spirometer? Can I measure TLC with the help of spirometer? No. Why? Because TLC is VC plus RV. And RV I cannot measure using spirometer. So both these instrument and technique are very important to deal with all this type of pulmonary volume and pulmonary capacity, which will tell us the health of our respiratory organ. मतलब कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, कोई डिजीज हुआ है, डिसऑर्डर है या एनीथिंग. ओके, वी सॉ 4 पल्मिनरी वॉल्यूम बट वी सॉ 5 पल्मिनरी कैपेसिटी. IC, EC, VC, FRC एंड TLC. ये जितने भी पल्मिनरी वॉल्यूम एंड कैपेसिटी है, इट इज गोइंग टू बी ऑफ मोर रेंज इन मेल्स की फीमेल्स. Males, okay, pulmonary volumes and capacity is 20 to 25% higher in males as compared to female. It will be more in a child or a young person. A young person. Why? Because the size of the lung is more. Simple, right? Will it be more for a young person or an old person? Young person. Because with age, can I say the elasticity of the lung has been reduced? Will it be more for a healthy person, a normal adult person, and a mountaineer? A mountaineer or a person who is living in valleys, मतलब mountains पे, like in Rohtang Pass. If you visit there, it is at a higher altitude. So all these people who are at living at a higher altitude, उनका pulmonary and capacity and volume will be much higher as compared to us. This they make it by either they are born with it, and with age they are acquiring it, and that is called as acclimatization. Acclimatization simply means you are trying to get adapted with the environment where you are staying in. For example, if we migrate to Rohtang Pass, higher altitude, do you think अपना भी RBC count बढ़ जाएगा? Yes, within a span of 2 to 3 months, even our RBC count will be increased. Why? Because वहाँ पर oxygen supply इतनी कम है. To compensate for that, we need to absorb whatever oxygen is available in the atmosphere, and for that our hemoglobin count has to increase. So इसके लिए whenever doctor says तुम्हारी health खराब हो गई है, you need to improve your health, what do they tell us? Go to a hilly area, because over there, in a bit to get acclimatized with the environment, our health will always improve. Okay, so now let us see conditions where our health actually deteriorates. So let us see which are the various diseases and disorders associated with our respiratory system. Before we go to that, there are certain terms which are given in our booklet which I would like to discuss. Okay, like if I say the term eupnea, निया का मतलब होता है breathing, okay? U का मतलब होता है true. Remember prokaryotic and eukaryotic? U यानी कि नया, evolved, true. So eupnea यानी कि a normal breathing activity, right? So normal breathing, how many times we saw per minute? 12 to 16 times. So normal breathing rate of a person, you refer it as a eupnea. If breathing rate is not there, it is completely stopped, it is absent, can I call it as apnea? Stoppage or cessation of breathing, absent. This is true, normal. This is A, यानी कि absent. That is cessation, stoppage. This is normal breathing. ठीक है? Breathing rate can increase, it can also decrease. We saw the mechanism by which breathing rate can be increased. Tell me which neural system of ANS increases the breathing rate? Sympathetic. Sympathetic will always increase due to the effect of neurotransmitter adrenaline and noradrenaline, which will be acting as hormones also. Parasympathetic tends to reduce it, यानी कि bring it back to normal. Okay, so over here, if breathing rate increases, can I call it as hyperapnea? Okay, for example, when you migrate to higher altitude, your breathing rate increases because partial pressure of oxygen is low over there, so you have to take in whatever is available. तो body अपना breathing rate अभी बढ़ा देती है. तो hyperapnea means increase in breathing rate. So if I make it ulta, decrease in breathing rate, I will call it as hypopnea. Okay? So all these things, this too I can say it is normal depending upon changes which we are subjected to. If I say dyspnea, डिस का मतलब होता है difficulty. Difficulty in breathing, which in simple language I can simply say it as breathlessness. Okay? Person is feeling lot of breathing problem. Okay? ठीक से सांस नहीं ले पा रहा है. Painful हो सकता है, difficult. That is referred as dyspnea. Then there is another term like hypercapnia. Okay? Hyper यानी कि high. What does capnia means here? Any idea? Capnia is with respect to carbon dioxide. Okay? So hypercapnia, I can simply say increased partial pressure of carbon dioxide in. Is this good? अगर ब्लड में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड ज्यादा होगा, ब्लड का पीएच क्या हो जाएगा? Acidic. Means ultimately it will result in acidosis. Okay? So that's why again I am emphasizing we are breathing mainly to get rid of this extra carbon dioxide accumulated in your blood, which you are releasing it out. तो अगर किसी पर्सन का कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड ज्यादा हो गया ब्लड में, so to remove this extra carbon dioxide, what will be the neural response for it? बॉडी क्या चेंज करेगी? Breathing rate means the person will automatically show hyperapnea. Hypercapnia will always result in hyperapnea. Same manner, अगर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड reduce हो जाए, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड reduce हो जाए means reduce partial pressure of carbon dioxide in blood. Now you will say, ma'am, how carbon dioxide, even if it is reduced in blood, is it going to be harmful to us? Carbon dioxide already is toxic because it results into production of large number of hydrogen ion. तो अगर ये कम हो रहा है तो एक तरीके से अच्छी बात ही है. I don't want that, okay? But if carbon dioxide is tremendously reduced, can I say it will result in alkalosis of the blood? And neither in acidic condition nor in alkaline condition, my majority of cellular enzyme will be functioning. So blood ka pH has to be properly maintained. So can I say carbon dioxide acts as a buffer system? Because somewhere it is regulating the production of hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ions, right? So over here this has to be seen. So hypocapnia, will it result in hyperapnea? अगर ये होगा तो what you will do? Hypopnea. तुम्हारा breathing rate automatically कम हो जाएगा, right? Next is अच्छा, before I go to asphyxia, let us go to the concept of hypoxia. Okay. As the word suggests, hypo means something is reduced. Okay. What is reduced here? Oxygen. So can I say it is due to reduced partial pressure of oxygen in blood? So a condition will arise where tissue suffer from deficiency of oxygen. So metabolic rate, can I say over here the BMR of the tissue will subsequently it will be reduced. Tissue will not be able to produce sufficient amount of energy to maintain, and can it slowly result in the death of the cell? Right? So this type of thing I can, in another language I can say poisoning, okay, somewhere, and there can be multiple reasons why hypoxia can be you can be suffering from. For example, if you migrate to a very high altitude, as I told you, at Mount Everest, it's not necessary that each one of us can climb Mount Everest, because that actually is a death zone. 8 kilometers, that much amount is the height of it. Maximum till where you are able to acclimatize, there is something called as a base camp level, which is also somewhere around 4,000 to 5,000 meters above the sea level. So till that particular time period, my body can easily get acclimatized to the changes happening in the atmosphere. After that, beyond that, can I say the person will be severely suffering from hypoxia, which can lead to hypothermia, and that can lead to the death of the person. So actually you are entering into a death zone if you are trying to climb Mount Everest. But still people are able to conquer that, okay, without carrying any oxygen cylinders. Also people claim that they have reached up to the peak of Mount Everest. This doesn't happen in day one. It requires years of physical training to do that. But if you see Nepali people, basically the one who are called as Sherpa, okay, many of them are able to do that. Why? Because they are surviving in such condition by birth. उनका physiology इस तरीके से adapted होता है that they are able to do that. A normal individual like us will have to go to rigorous training to be getting acclimatized in such a hard condition. Hypoxia, major reason is reduced partial pressure of oxygen. Can you give me which can be the causative agent? जैसे हमने एक देखा altitude की वजह से हो सकता है. Can a person who is suffering from anemia can also complain of hypoxia, right? Such condition, can I also say a person who is facing cyanide poisoning? A person who has faced cyanide poisoning, तो उसके ब्लड में पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ ऑक्सीजन नॉर्मल रहेगा कि अबनॉर्मल रहेगा, रेड्यूस रहेगा? नॉर्मल रहेगा, because cyanide is affecting only your cells and tissues. तो ब्लड का partial pressure of oxygen normal रहेगा. Blood is providing that oxygen to the tissue, but tissue is not able to utilize that. Why? Because cytochrome oxidase is becoming non-functional, the ultimate enzyme which is responsible for the cellular respiration. So utilization of oxygen is not there. So that also results in hypoxia. Okay. So over here, with the time, if the person is not, as a cure, तुम क्या दोगे? You will provide oxygen to the person. लेकिन अगर उसको ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिल रहा है, can I say it will lead to anoxia or anorexia? Okay? Anoxia, what can I say? Not anorexia. Anoxia will be what? Absence. Okay? Absence of oxygen supply to we hardly show symptom of hyperoxia. Okay? Why? Because oxygen already हमारे पास बहुत ज़्यादा है. So if body is having excess of that, we are breathing it out. Remember, our expired air still has 16% of oxygen. So that is not going to cause any disorder in us. Next is asphyxia, which in normal language we call as choking or suffocation, especially happens due to inhalation of lot of smoke. Like there is some accident in the form करके कि कहीं आग लग गई है, and the person has not experienced any physical burn. बंदा जला नहीं है, but still the person died, and that death has resulted because of asphyxiation. Asphyxiation means what? Since the air that you are breathing in, this air will be rich with carbon dioxide, because burning is occurring, so oxygen उसका खत्म हो गया है, it will be rich with carbon dioxide, so you are inhaling also carbon dioxide and you are not able to exhale the carbon dioxide which is produced inside your body. So can I say it is basically a combination of hypoxia and hypercapnia? The blood में ऑक्सीजन का प्रेशर सिवियरली कम हो जाएगा और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का प्रेशर सिवियरली हाई हो जाएगा. So can a person die because of over production and retention of carbon dioxide in the body? Yes. Okay. So asphyxiation simply means suffocation or choking in normal language. उसका clinical symptom I can say is because of this two things: retention of lot of carbon dioxide in the blood and reduced partial pressure of oxygen. ठीक है? So these terms are clear. Another term which is mentioned in our booklet, cyanosis. Okay, something which is easily seen along with cyanide poisoning. Which is characteristic symptom is bluish coloration of skin. Okay, why the skin will appear blue? Tell me, what is the reason? स्किन क्यों ब्लू कलर की हो जाएगी? ब्लड में ऐसा क्या होगा जिसकी वजह से कलर ब्लू हो सकता है? Okay, ultimately cytochrome oxidase is not functioning. Okay, cytochrome oxidase is a part of the tissue. I am saying blood का color, if I want to see also here, blood का color क्यों blue हो जाता है? Blood also becomes blue in color. Blood में ऐसा क्या है so that the color becomes blue? Remember, carbon dioxide is carried in three ways. Either it is directly dissolved in the plasma, or it is combined with hemoglobin to produce carb-aminohemoglobin. What is the color of carb-aminohemoglobin? Bluish. That's why we saw arteries का color is bright red, veins में blood का color is even very dark, brick red in color. So during cyanosis, there is tremendous increase in reduced hemoglobin, or what you call as carb aminohemoglobin. Okay? There is lot of retention of carbon dioxide. Separately, if I say, okay, CO poisoning, carbon monoxide poisoning. Why a person, if he or she inhales lot of carbon monoxide, it can result in the death of the person? Why is that so? Hemoglobin shows 200 to 250 times higher affinity towards carbon monoxide. चलो affinity दिखाता है तो दिखाता है. Whatever compound is produced, that compound is non-dissociable. Means this reaction is an irreversible reaction in our body. So carbon monoxide results in the formation of hemoglobin binding with carbon monoxide. तो क्या compound मिलता है मेरे को? What do I get? Carboxyhemoglobin. I can say carboxyhemoglobin, which is non-dissociable. So ultimately tissue को oxygen supply कम होगी. तो can I say this poisoning will also result in cyanosis? Any reason? Means overall I can say hypoxia will cause cyanosis. Is there carbon monoxide present in air normally? We are living in urban area. Carbon monoxide is always there in the air that you breathe. But the percentage is not that severe कि it can cause carbon monoxide का poisoning. अगर air में carbon monoxide becomes suddenly more than 1 to 2%, then it will result in carbon monoxide poisoning. Agar percentage is less than 1, then it will never cause carbon monoxide. It is not very deadly, you can say. Okay? So these are few terms which you need to know understanding any disease. Now you will tell me which all diseases you know. So we will discuss only those diseases that affects our lungs. चलो एक एक करके कोई diseases बताओ lungs की. We will discuss that. Asthma. Okay, let us start with asthma. Okay, correctly we refer it mainly as
And in CO poisoning, person becomes blue.
Yes, obviously, because oxygen supply is tremendously reduced. That will also show the phenomena of cyanosis. Okay? Carbon monoxide poisoning also will result in asphyxiation because carbon dioxide is also retained क्योंकि hemoglobin तेरे को carbon dioxide को carry करने के लिए भी चाहिए. So that will also result in asphyxiation. चलो, asthma which we correctly call as bronchial asthma. Okay, this is one of the disease which we nowadays suffers from, especially children. They suffers from asthma a lot, especially in urban areas. This is a type of allergic response that your body is producing. It is not because of deficiency of immune response, it is because of hypersensitivity of immune response. हमारा immune response ज़्यादा हो गया है. That's why we show certain allergic response, and this hypersensitivity is because of body is exposed to certain agents which we call them as allergens. Okay, so a person is taking inhaling these allergen, that it will result in certain allergic responses. Like most common allergen for asthma, which is that? Especially dust particles, smoke, any particulate matter, etc. Okay, so people, children in urban areas are, prone to suffer from asthma a lot. Like if you are seeing this news, Delhi is facing a lot of cases pertaining to respiratory problem. अगर last week में तुमने देखा होगा 3 days, okay, all the schools across Delhi were, they were shut down simply because the entire city was covered by a thick smog. There is a difference between fog and smog. In smog, there are accumulation of lot of dust particle in air, and inhalation of that will lead to lot of respiratory problems. Okay, it is reported that every second child in Delhi is suffering from one or the other respiratory problem. This is one major problem that people are suffering there a lot. अस्थमा में क्या प्रॉब्लम होती है? अभी हमने देखा कि क्यों हो रहा है. It is because of exposure to allergen. So what your body does to do that? क्या करती है बॉडी? हाँ.
हेवीली ब्रीदिंग करता है पेशेंट.
ओके, डिफिकल्टी इन ब्रीथिंग, ठीक है, करेक्ट है. डिफिकल्टी इन ब्रीथिंग, ब्रीथिंग मीन्स व्हाट? इंस्पिरेशन में डिफिकल्टी होती है कि एक्सपिरेशन में डिफिकल्टी होती है? इंस्पिरेशन इन दीज पीपल इज ओके, फिर भी नॉर्मल है, बट to expire air it becomes very difficult. Why that is difficult? Because the bronchioles undergo a sustained state of contraction that you call as bronchospasm. Okay, bronchospasm यानी कि sustained state of contraction. Okay, so if they are in a sustained state of contraction, the lumen of the bronchiole will be reduced, so air, it will be very difficult for it to come out. अब बोलो कि मैम अगर बाहर निकलने में डिफिकल्टी हो रही है, then how entry of air is normal? Are you getting my point? I told you inspiration in them is normal, but expiration in them is very difficult. If bronchiole are in a sustained state of contraction, entry हो या exit हो, दोनों difficult होना चाहिए. But why entry is not difficult? It is because during inspiration, aren't we making changes to purposely increase the size of the rib cage and then your lungs? So lungs expand हो रहे हैं, and that allows bronchioles to somewhere get compensated. ठीक है, तो inspiration normal होगा, but expiration करते वक्त this reduced lumen, and when air is trying to go out, can I say this entry will be difficult, and जितना passage छोटा होता रहेगा, by the time air is coming out, it will produce a sound when it is coming out. See, for example, when you want to do whistle, तो whistle करते वक्त क्या? Air is collected and then you allow air to pass through a small hole. उससे नहीं हो रहा, but you allow it to pass through a small hole, तभी whistle की sound आएगी. तो अस्थमा में prolonged, if there is continuous contraction of the bronchiole, it will result in production of a sound which we call as wheezing. Okay, so this is a very characteristic symptom of asthma. Coughing से वगैरह शुरू होगा, but sustained contraction of this will result in wheezing action. Wheezing simply याद रखो, थोड़े से ना whistle के जैसा sound आएगा. Okay, and this doesn't happen in a day or two or few months. It is a type of chronic disorder. Okay, chronic means it develops in years together, but sometimes the effect can be acute. Once you have developed it, if you are exposed to a lot of allergen, then the effect is very much acute, fast. ठीक है, so asthma is one. कोई और दूसरी, तो यहाँ पर there is obstruction in my respiratory pathway. Can you tell me any other disease where there is obstruction in my respiratory pathway? Air ठीक से enter exit नहीं कर रही है. Emphysema, okay. Emphysema we basically associate with people who have a habit of who are chained, okay, means continuously they are smoking cigarette, burning tobacco. Now when you burn tobacco, उससे क्या होता है? Nicotine gets accumulated in the alveoli. Can I call this as my alveolar sac? There are bunch of alveoli. Each alveolar sac there are approximately 20 alveoli. Why I need to have so many? So that there is lot of surface area available for the diffusion of gas. Deposition of nicotine over here will do what? See. Is there any change between a healthy alveoli and this alveoli? This is the alveoli of a person who might be suffering from emphysema. Means over here I can say that there is destruction of the septal wall, the wall which is separating the adjacent alveoli. So over here the elasticity of the alveoli is lost and they are in a distensible state. Means always expanded, irreversible distension. So the overall surface area for the diffusion of air is increased or decreased? Is severely decreased. There is diffusion कम हो रहा है. तो can I say the air which will be filled always in the alveoli, residual volume, this residual volume has been increased here. So here emphysema has come from the word inflation. Means the volume of air that is trapped in the lungs is always very more. Understood why it has happened? It is mainly because of destruction of the alveolar wall due to presence of nicotine when a person is inhaling lot of cigarette smoke. Again, it is not happening in a day or two. I can say it is also a chronic disorder. It takes years. Okay? So this also makes breathing difficult. Initially person will suffer from breathlessness, then person will show lot of mucus accumulation, बहुत ज़्यादा coughing होगी. So all these are symptoms of emphysema. So emphysema में my alveoli wall is destroyed, elasticity is lost, they are in a state of irreversible distension. मतलब वो ऐसे ही expanded state में रहेंगे. So the air which is trapped inside the alveoli, the volume is very high. So that is, the lungs always remain in a state of inflation. Okay? और कोई जहाँ पर there is obstruction in air passage, a simple disease like bronchitis which you call as inflammation of lungs may be mainly bronchi, okay, and this inflammation can be due to any infection, mainly bacterial infection. It can be viral, it can be fungal, but chiefly during bacterial infection. Inflammation का मतलब क्या हुआ? ल्यूमन का साइज छोटा होगा कि बड़ा हो जाएगा? Inflammation, lumen size will be reduced or it can be made even more wider. It will be narrowed. Why it will be narrowed? For example, this is a bronchiole. If it is getting inflamed, can I say which type of epithelium is present over here? Inner wall में? Pseudostratified epithelium. Okay, so here and there will be lot of goblet cell. They get inflamed. Inflamed यानी कि उसकी thickness अभी बढ़ जाएगी. So if the thickness of those membrane has increased, so that lot of mucus is treated. Why mucus? Because this mucus will try to trap the pathogen to be thrown out of the body, and this will result in the narrowing of the lumen size. So again, person will be showing lot of breathing problem. Can I cure bronchitis to certain extent? Yes, I can cure it. If you cure the source of infection, I can cure bronchitis. But if I talk about asthma and emphysema, can I cure them? No, because this is, can I say this to certain extent is an acute disorder? Okay, because of infection you are suffering from bronchitis. That source of infection is lost, bronchitis can be cured. But since these two are chronic, okay, they both are non-curable. You cannot cure asthma, you cannot cure emphysema. But you still provide a treatment for asthma and emphysema. They are symptomatic measure. Symptomatic measure means whatever symptom your body is showing, coughing ज़्यादा कर रहे हो, उसके लिए medicine होगा. Breathing में problem हो रही है, then they will give you a pump. Pump means those pump will have dilators. Can I say if there is bronchoconstriction, spasm, that chemical will be acting as bronchodilators. Bronchioles को वो dilate करेगा and hence breathing will be proper. So you cannot cure asthma or emphysema, but you are providing medicines as a temporary relief from the symptoms which you are showing during asthma and emphysema. Okay, so this one is curable, this two is non-curable. All three of them together, asthma, emphysema and bronchitis, I can put them in a larger category of respiratory problem called as COPD. Okay, this can be acute or this too can be chronic, because beside bacterial infection there can be multiple infection, source of infection. So all three of them can be collectively put into this disorder, COPD. Full form likho, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder. मतलब with years the airways of the respiratory system are obstructed, they are narrowed. That's why breathing becomes a bit difficult. COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder. ठीक है? चलो. Any other diseases that comes to your mind pertaining to lungs?
Lung cancer.
Very deep. Lung cancer. Okay? Can I say emphysema eventually will lead to lung cancer? Bronchitis can eventually lead to lung cancer. Lung cancer means when there are certain carcinogens, okay, nicotine, and that particular smoke or cigarette is rich with benzene ka byproduct, and benzene is severe carcinogenic agent. So a person who is habituated to smoking a lot is at a higher risk of suffering from lung cancer. Lung cancer में क्या होगा? Cancer in any form I can say is abnormal increased cellular division. So here I can say with cancer there will be lot of cells deposited in the alveoli. So rather than alveoli, a small balloon-like organ, can I say it will be a ball now, a packed ball? There is no lumen present over there. So can I say lung with time is getting converted from a hollow organ to a solid organ? So with time it will lead to stoppage of breathing. Can I cure lung cancer? Yes, I can cure, only till the time, it will depend on at what stage I am discovering it. If it is at a primary stage, stage 1, okay, I can say there are high chances that the person can survive. If it is at a second stage, secondary stage, 50% chance is there. If it is the last, tertiary stage, then I cannot cure cancer. Okay? Chalo, give me a milder form of disease that we normally suffer from.
Mind.
You know, सबसे ज़्यादा death in India is because of this particular disease. Which is that? TB. Okay. Tuberculosis. Okay. TB, that is tuberculosis. Tuberculosis can be of any organ. Okay. But when I say simply tuberculosis, it is mainly with respect to lungs. We can have tuberculosis of stomach, we can have tuberculosis of intestine, there can be tuberculosis of liver, tonsils, anything. But in India, the form of pulmonary tuberculosis is very much high. All other form of tuberculosis, I can call them as extra pulmonary. Lungs ke beyond. Okay. Now, why we suffer from tuberculosis? Because the causative agent of tuberculosis. Any idea who causes tuberculosis? Mycobacterium tuberculosis. This particular bacteria is very much there in our air. It spreads through, contact with a person. It's a communicable disease. Okay, when you are exposed to the cough, the sputum, or this person sneezes, so over here it is passing through droplet infection, I can say. The droplet of an infected person, if you inhale them, then this bacteria also comes. So why in India it is very much common? Because it is said that every 4th or 5th person in India is a carrier of tuberculosis. Carrier simply means this bacteria is lodged inside your lung, but you are not showing symptom for tuberculosis only because your body का immune response is very strong. But that doesn't mean कि तुम्हारे droplet में वो bacteria नहीं होगा. But if this droplet is now inhaled by a person whose immune system is quite weak, तो उसमें ये disease ज़रूर it will begin in that particular person. And why it is so very common in India? Because we are so very overpopulated. This disease spreads mainly because of overcrowding. Either you are traveling in bus or you are traveling in train. That is one of the chief means for the spread of this particular disease. So TB में भी क्या होता है? TB basically affects your lungs and pleura. Okay, which damages your tissue. The lungs की tissue especially damage हो जाएंगे. There will be some other tissue present over there, and as a counter effect, body starts producing lot of mucus. And जहाँ पर भी tissue damage होगा, and if this person spits, तो उसके sputum में क्या हो सकता है? There will be blood present in that. Why? Because of the internal damage to the tissues and the blood capillaries of the lung. इनका sputum का color भी अलग हो सकता है, right? It can be very greenish, okay? But it will be having blood depending upon how much severe the case is, okay? चलो, tuberculosis is something अगर मेरा immune system quite weak है. Which is the other disease which is very common in not only adults but कोई भी age group का होने दो. Child होने दो, young person होने दो, adult होने दो, old age वाला होने दो, कौन सा respiratory problem is very common? Pneumonia. Pneumonia is very common among us. इसको जैसे हमने classify किया था, it is a type of bacterial disease. I will not classify pneumonia exclusively as a bacterial disease. Pneumonia has a range of causative agent. वो bacterial भी है, वो viral भी है, वो fungal भी है, उसके लिए other agents भी हो सकते हैं, mechanical agent. Okay? The bacteria which causes pneumonia. Any idea? Which bacteria causes? हाँ? Okay. Diplococcus की streptococcus. Streptococcus, pneumoniae, and Haemophilus influenza. Okay, so these are the two common strain of bacteria which causes pneumonia. There are other agents. There are viral, fungal, and mechanical agents also. Mechanical agents also responsible for causing pneumonia. Pneumonia में क्या होता है? Pneumonia basically affects your alveoli. alveoli is filled with fluid. So again, the area available for diffusion of gases are tremendously reduced. Initial symptom is breathlessness. यहाँ पर भी person का sputum will be very, yellowish and greenish. But will this sputum have blood in it? No. There is damage to the tissue only in TB. So यहाँ पर sputum में blood हो सकता है. यहाँ पर blood will rarely be there because here it is only because of excessive production of fluid, that is mucus, which gets accumulated in your alveoli. Do I have any vaccine to prevent pneumonia? Do we have vaccine? कि pneumonia रोक लो. In your initial stage of life, within a period of 1 to 2 years, okay, you are provided with a vaccine of pneumonia, but it is only for bacterial infection. अगर vaccine ली है, so it will provide you, protection only against these two agents. Can you be subjected to other agents? Yes. So pneumonia can be occurring, and for these agents we don't have a vaccine. So each one of us is likely to contract pneumonia. Okay? Chalo. Any other disease of lungs?
Mining.
Any other disease of lungs? If I say lungs, और कोई disease है lungs का? Lung cancer तो नहीं मुझे पता था. Any other disease?
Mining.
Disease. I'm not able to hear properly.
Mining related.
Mining.
Mining.
Okay, mining. Acha. Can I call them as occupational disease? Okay, so over here a bunch of diseases like occupational disease, depending upon what work the person is doing, especially for the people who are involved in or working in mining industries. Okay, I can also refer this disease as pneumoconiosis. Okay, because over here the characteristic symptom beside accumulation of fluid is fibrosis. Fibrosis यानी कि thickening of fibrous connective tissue. Fibrous connective tissue यानी कि can I say the alveolar wall with the time is getting very thick. So thickness of my respiratory membrane is so high that diffusion will not occur. But again, this is not developing in a day or a week or a year. It takes 10 to 15 years for a person to be suffering from an occupational hazard, occupational disease. Okay, that's why you say it is to be chronic. It's a chronic disease. Two different examples of pneumoconiosis: asbestosis for people who are working in asbestos making industry, when you are continuously inhaling particulate matter, that is asbestos, and by the inhalation of silica, I can call it as silicosis. Okay, so here it is because of asbestos inhalation, here it is because of silica. Inhalation of asbestos and silica, which ultimately goes and gets collected in your alveoli, and as a defense mechanism, body traps them, tries to break them, and as a result there is thickening of your fibrous connective tissue, means you suffer from fibrosis. This disease is also non-curable. So, can I say a person who is having such type of occupation is inviting purposely this disease? Can I say that? Okay, so before a person goes for this kind of a job, they have to sign a contract. Okay, and the government will give them a list of preventive measures, like this thing has to be followed before you work in such kind of industry. They have to wear a proper suit, they have to be always in a mask, but all this will only minimize, it will not stop the exposure. Okay, so occupational disease, it's mainly because of where you are working, which takes few years for it to be produced. Chalo, any other lung ka disease? Small children suffer from atelectasis. Small children suffer from atelectasis, that is failure of lung to expand. Lungs is not able to expand. Means, can I say lungs are getting collapsed? Okay, lungs are not able to expand means I can say lungs are collapsing. The main component of the lung is alveoli. What can be the reason that alveoli are collapsing? Can I say deficiency of lecithin? Who is providing non-collapsible nature to alveoli? It's only because of presence of the phospholipid lecithin. So atelectasis main reason is deficiency of lecithin. Okay, so all these are diseases which are reaching up till lungs and causing some problem. Now let us list certain diseases which are not reaching up till lung, but they are affecting our respiratory tract, especially the upper respiratory tract, and which is the most common upper respiratory tract disease. We very much suffer often from that. Common cold. See the name itself. Common cold, यानी कि इतना common है कि कभी भी हो सकता है. It is said that a small child can suffer from common cold 6 to 12 times in a year. मतलब एक बच्चे को हर महीने सर्दी खांसी हो सकती है. But as your immunity is improving, now in this particular age group, you can suffer from common cold 2 to 4 times in a year. यानी कि वो क्वार्टरली या तो हाफ ईयरली बेसिस पर हमको अटैक करेगा. ओके, सो अपर रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट डिजीज मोस्ट कॉमन, दैट इज कॉमन कोल्ड, which you also call as coryza. Common cold, or what you call as coryza. What are the causative agent of common cold?
Rhinovirus.
Okay, it is caused by a virus called as coronavirus. Now here you told me rhinovirus. To certain extent also it is correct, but main causative agent is coronavirus. When I say rhinovirus, then I am actually pointing on another disease, rhinitis. Okay, many books you will find common cold and rhinitis to be same. Okay, but rhinitis का main symptom क्या है? Inflammation of nasal tract. Okay, due to severe production of mucus there. So there is a slight difference. Common cold, can I say this particular is one of the symptom of common cold? Because common cold में infection is not just restricted here in your nasal tract. It can spread maximum up till where? Nasal tract से कहाँ तक जा सकता है? Pharynx. It will never go beyond I can say common cold includes rhinitis. Rhinitis is not including common cold. So that's why in majority of books common cold का दूसरा नाम उन्होंने rhinitis रखा है. So at that particular time I can say common cold is produced by coronavirus as well as rhinovirus. Okay, and over here this you need to know, it can go from nasal tract up to pharynx. It will never go beyond that, and hence this two disease can be said as URTI, upper respiratory tract infection. And a severe form of cold, I can call it as SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. It is simply a very strong form of common cold. SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. तो just imagine ये common cold का एक severe form है. तो इसका भी causative agent क्या है? Coronavirus. A different strain of coronavirus will be resulting in this particular problem. अब इन दोनों में difference क्या है? If you see common cold, there will be nasal secretion, headache होगा, but it's not necessary fever हमेशा आएगा. Not necessary you will always have fever in common cold. But in SARS, all these symptoms will be seen along with severe body pain and fever. So this is a milder form, this is a very severe form. For this, if you don't take medication, कोई दवाई नहीं लोगे तो भी चलेगा. See, for common cold, we don't take any proper medicine because it's a viral infection, very common. Body automatically अपने आप को heal कर लेती है. It takes a period of around 6 to 7 days. This virus, after completing its life cycle, will be out of your body. But for this, you need a proper medication for the treatment of SARS. Okay? Last disease I will just discuss is not faced by everyone, but people who are in diving industry. That is called as decompression sickness or Kazan disease. I suppose I have already discussed this with you. This is only in divers when they ascend at a faster rate. Means while coming up from deep sea, again if you are, instead of ascending slowly, if you ascend at a very fast rate, then they suffer from something called as decompression sickness or Kazan disease due to accumulation of which gas? Which gas is present in the form of bubbles in your blood? Nitrogen. How nitrogen? Because as you go deep inside the sea, pressure is increasing or decreasing? Increasing. अभी तक हमने क्या देखा था? Why nitrogen is not able to diffuse so much? Because अंदर जितना pressure है, बाहर भी उतना ही pressure है, right? But now when you are going deep down, अंदर pressure उतना ही रहा, but बाहर suddenly pressure high हो गया है. So now nitrogen is able to cross through your respiratory membrane, come inside your blood. So when you are going down and down, can I say nitrogen is getting accumulated in the blood? So if you are coming up, means from a higher pressure gradient, you are coming to a lower pressure. अगर तुम ये धीरे धीरे करोगे, if you are coming at the top at a very slow rate, your body has enough time to give out nitrogen slowly in the lungs and you will be exhaling it out. बाहर निकाल दोगे. But if there is a sudden difference, lot of nitrogen will be released in the form of bubbles, which will result in decompression. And if these bubbles are blocking your major artery or spinal cord or your nervous system, person can experience paralysis, severe paralysis, or it can result into the death of the person. So if we go for scuba diving, deep sea diving, सूट लेकर के ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर लेकर के जंप कर दिया, ऐसा नहीं होगा. You have to go through proper training how to go deep and how to come on the top again without facing any severe health problem. Okay, so by this we have finished this particular chapter. There is nothing much. In fact, if you see in NCERT, they have not listed these many diseases also. Yes?
Ma'am, whooping cough, I think diphtheria or pertussis, I'm not sure about the name.
Okay. Which one disease, बच्चा?
Whooping cough.
हाँ, चलो. Whooping cough. Whooping cough, or what you call it as pertussis. ठीक है? And another one, diphtheria. Okay? Both of them are bacterial infection. But both of them are no longer deadly disease because you are having a proper vaccine which we provide to the child, at very early stage of life. Which vaccine is that? We provide a DPT vaccine to the child. तो जब तक ये vaccine नहीं बना था, till that particular time it was a very deadly disease. As I can say, whooping cough इतना deadly नहीं, but diphtheria is very deadly. Whooping cough, as the name suggests, there is lots of mucus collected in the respiratory tract, so the child is severely coughing a lot during this particular problem. But during diphtheria, what happens? There is a thick mucus membrane present which can block your oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Now imagine, can it result in death? Can diphtheria result in death? Yes, because you have choked. Can a child be able to breathe now? No. So this particular infection, we had to find some preventive measure, and we are providing any child, in any government or municipal hospital, this vaccine is given free of cost to any child coming over there. So DPT, diphtheria, pertussis, T stands for tetanus. Okay, but tetanus का कैसा होता है? It is with a, what you can say, lifespan. ऐसा नहीं कि एक बार tetanus की वैक्सीन ले ली तो it is going to be effective throughout your life. हर 2 साल 3 साल में तुमको लेना पड़ता है टिटनेस का वैक्सीन. ओके, चलो. एनी अदर disease that you can associate with your lungs? If you see NCERT ने सिर्फ अस्थमा, emphysema and to certain extent occupational disorder के ऊपर कुछ लिखा है. Otherwise, none of these diseases are explained in NCERT का textbook. But we are dealing with that, so we need to know something about this particular disease. So by this I have finished your chapter. Now take out your booklet. I had asked you to carry booklet so that we can discuss any doubts pertaining to that.
That's why to the
Okay, now simple things like yawning, snoring, hiccuping, ये क्यों होता है हमको? When you yawn, means what you are doing? Inspiration की expiration. Okay, अब inspiration करने की तुमको जरूरत क्यों पड़ रही है यहाँ पर? Yawning normally happens when your body is a bit tired. Yawning is a signal that you are feeling very tired. Tiredness क्यों होती है? When your cells are not able to produce sufficient amount of energy. और एनर्जी वो क्यों नहीं प्रोड्यूस कर पा रहा? बिकॉज सेलुलर रेस्पिरेशन अच्छा नहीं हो पा रहा. सेलुलर रेस्पिरेशन अच्छा क्यों नहीं हो पा रहा? बिकॉज उसको ऑक्सीजन अच्छे से नहीं मिल पा रहा. सो टू सप्लीमेंट दैट व्हाट वी डू, वी ट्राई टू इनहेल मोर वॉल्यूम ऑफ एयर. तो ये सिग्नल उसको कौन देगा कि मेरे को ऑक्सीजन सप्लाई अच्छी करनी है? सेंटर ऑफ यॉर्निंग किधर रहेगा? Your medulla. Okay, so medulla, beside having respiratory rhythm center, it will have center for yawning, it will have center for sneezing, it will have center for Hiccuping, it will have center for snoring. अब देखो sneezing यानी कि क्या? What is sneezing? Come on, tell me. कभी sneeze नहीं किया है? What is sneezing? It is inspiration की expiration. So over here, voluntary की involuntary? Involuntary. It is a involuntary. हाँ, try करो sneeze करते हुए inspire करना. You can't go against your body, right? So this is something which your medulla is controlling. Sneezing basically happens because of irritation of your respiratory tract, especially upper respiratory tract. Dust particle अंदर तक गया है तो कभी sneeze नहीं करोगे. But dust particle is there in your nasal tract, pharynx, your trachea, to certain extent bronchus. वहाँ तक अगर वो हमको trouble दे रहा है, so the cilia will try to throw them up. And the moment it is coming upwards, body tries to throw them out by combined contraction of the muscles over here, and that results in sneezing action. Okay, so again center is medulla oblongata. What is hiccuping? Okay, when you do hiccups action, okay, hiccuping is mainly at the time of hiccup you produce a sound also. How that sound is generated? कौन बनाएगा साउंड? बॉडी में साउंड कौन बनाता है? Vocal cords. Okay, so over here there is abnormal movement of vocal cord. Why? Because of abnormal passage of the air. अब air क्यों entry exit abnormally कर रही है? Main reason is abnormal contraction of the phrenic muscle. तेरा diaphragm ठीक से contract relax नहीं कर रहा है. There can be some irritant which your diaphragm is facing, and जो उसको nerve impulse supply हो रही है, that results in irregular contraction of the phrenic muscle, and that results in abnormal passage of air. So it is during inspiration you produce hiccup, or during expiration you produce hiccup? Expiration, you are trying to throw it out, and that is not just vocal cord, but main sound is produced because of the abnormal movement of epiglottis. Okay, so reason is due to irritation of phrenic muscle, response is generated by epiglottis. Okay, next thing is snoring. Ma'am, my parents snore a lot. आवाज आती है. Okay, snoring के टाइम पे I can't produce because it's not necessary everyone will be suffering from snoring का problem. Snoring कब होगा? ये आवाज कब प्रोड्यूस होगी? इंस्पिरेशन में कि एक्सपिरेशन में? इंस्पिरेशन. Snoring is always कभी भी देखो. It's only when you are taking in air you are able to produce that sound. Now why that happens? Snoring is because of constricted nasal passage. Air is not able to enter properly, going till pharynx. It can be because of abnormal position. People who are habituated of taking lot of pillows, okay, या तो because of certain position of the tongue that can block the entry and exit of air, and hence person can be producing the snoring sound. So all these, okay, they are normal. They are not something which can be life threatening. So your medulla not only has a vital center of breathing, but can I say it is also having non-vital centers of breathing? Vital center यानी कि the respiratory rhythm center, and non-vital में वो क्या-क्या control कर रहा है? Sneezing control कर रहा है, yawning control कर रहा है, hiccuping control कर रहा है, snoring भी बोल सकते हो तुम. So all these centers are also present in medulla oblongata. ठीक है? चलो, anything else? Done. Can we finally come to booklet का questions now? हम लोग मैंने कभी booklet discuss, हाँ? तुम लोग को वाकई नहीं समझ में आया? हाँ? अच्छा ठीक है. circulation, this we had discussed actually during Kingdom Animalia only. Okay, double circulation is a characteristic feature of animals who are showing a four-chambered heart. Four-chambered heart means in their heart blood is getting, blood is received or pumped from the heart twice. One in an oxygenated form, another in a deoxygenated form. So the same blood is passed through the heart twice. That's why this type of circulation is called as double circulation. So write what is the meaning of double circulation. Heart pumps blood, pumps the same blood, you can say, twice. Heart pumps blood twice, and hence this circulation is double circulation, and which comprises of two forms: pulmonary and systemic. Pulmonary circulation involves the form of blood that is deoxygenated blood. अब बोलो कि मैम पल्मिनरी में तो ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड भी आता है, बट जब वो हार्ट से जा रहा है दैट टाइम इट इज इन विच स्टेट? डीऑक्सीजनेटेड स्टेट. ठीक है, वैसे ही सिस्टमिक ब्लड इट इज इन ऑक्सीजनेटेड स्टेट. So the side of heart which I can say to be the pulmonary side, it is the right side of the heart, and the one which is systemic, I can call it as the left side of the heart. ठीक है? So the circulation which involves the right side of the heart and the lungs and coming back to the heart, that circulation will be called as a pulmonary circulation. So pulmonary circulation will always begin with right ventricle. It will come to the pulmonary artery. From there it will go for lungs for oxygenation. From lungs it will be carried via pulmonary veins, poured back into the left atrium. Okay, so this is what I call as pulmonary circulation. Circulation which involves pulmons, that is lungs. Right? Now if I talk about systemic circulation, that will definitely begin from left ventricle, carried by aorta to different body parts, coming back through vena cava, precaval and postcaval, pouring the deoxygenated blood into right atrium. So circulation of this manner, this is the pathway of systemic circulation. Systemic circulation is, there is one branch of systemic circulation which is much more evolved, and that you call it as coronary circulation. Coronary circulation means a circulation exclusively dealing with supply of blood, oxygenated blood to heart. So that will also start with left ventricle. From aorta there is a branch coming out called as coronary artery, which will produce or which will supply blood to the myocardium of the heart. It will be collected by the coronary veins. You can refer them collectively as the greater cardiac vein, uniting to produce coronary sinus, which opens again into right. So I can say coronary circulation is a part of systemic only, but it involves only heart. So heart will always pump blood to itself first before supplying it to any other organ of your body. So double circulation simply means the blood enters the heart twice in two forms. Once in deoxygenated form, another oxygenated form. Hence such type of circulation is called as double circulation. Which other class of vertebrates shows double circulation? Yes, birds. Bird ka heart is also 4 chamber. Which other animal can also show double circulation? Crocodile. But crocodile के लिए हम इतना बोलते नहीं है कि it will show a proper double circulation, because crocodile being a reptile, though it is having a proper 4-chambered heart, but there is certain mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, because their aorta and pulmonary trunk, हमने देखा ना हमारी fetal life में एक duct रहता है which connects aorta and the pulmonary trunk, pulmonary artery. Which was that duct? अरे duct का नाम क्या है? Ductus arteriosus, which gets sealed, और seal होने के बाद तुम उसको ligamentum arteriosum बुलाते हो. So अगर imagine करो, अगर वो seal ही नहीं होता, so can I say there will be continuous mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood? So crocodiles, though they are having properly 4-chambered heart, but their double circulation is not very good, because this duct is not properly sealed in them, and that results in a prolonged opening which we refer as foramen of Panizzi. Okay, that is with respect to crocodile. क्या नाम बोला मैंने? Foramen opening, foramen of Panizzi. Okay, so a proper double circulation, a complete double circulation is a feature of mammals and apes. So can I say reptiles are showing incomplete double circulation? Because their heart is partially 4-chambered. What about amphibians? So which circulation will they also show? I can say that incomplete double circulation, because there is mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. What about Pisces, fishes? Single circulation. Understood now why the term single? Because blood enters heart only in one form. Which form? Oxygenated and deoxygenated? Deoxygenated. The heart of fishes receive only deoxygenated blood, and hence their heart was referred as a venous heart. So now clear with what do we mean by double circulation? समझा? ठीक है? आज लगता है किसी को बुकलेट डिस्कस नहीं करनी है ना? सब लेकर के आए हैं कि नहीं आए बुकलेट? Everyone is carrying. I had mentioned it last time. You guys are supposed to carry. देखो आज तक मैंने कभी तुम्हारे साथ बुकलेट डिस्कशन नहीं की है, because it's a bit difficult to do that. I always ask you कि अपने आप से डिस्कस करो, जो वहाँ पर फैकल्टी अवेलेबल है उनके साथ डिस्कस करो. फिर भी नहीं होता है, then you go ahead with you can ask me doubts personally. But why I am insisting for this particular chapter? Because the questions here in this chapter are quite vague. They are out of the context. Okay? So बहुत ज़्यादा application की ज़रूरत होती है, तो इसके लिए मैंने सोचा था मैं तुमसे discuss करूँगी. But if you guys are not interested, my work is made very easier. So next time I can start with a करना है? चलो come. The good side about it is that I still have few days, because your major test is on 11th December. So I still have round about 3 to 4 weeks. So I'm giving you last chance. Okay, next time I will not do this. If you are repeating something like this, what I will do, जिसके पास booklet है वो लोग classroom में बैठेंगे, the others will leave the class. But since it is the first time, I am tolerating it. Next time if I say something to be done, it has to be done. कहीं पर भी लिख करके रखो, कुछ अलार्म लगाओ, कुछ मेमोरी डालो, फीड करो, but you have to follow what I am saying. So next time don't forget to get your booklet, solve the booklet, mark your question as doubt, so that next time when we are meeting it, I will solve the doubts of the booklet. And we will start with a new chapter though it is not a part of your major test 3, the chapter that I plan to begin now, I suppose I'll be starting with neural control and coordination. Okay, sorry, not neural control, excretory system, because यहाँ हम circulatory system कर रहे हैं. We will begin with excretory system. Okay, चलो, you can leave for today.